oscillator and filter demos, we haven't even touched the voltage-controlled amplifier. So we've just been hearing it with the sustain all the way up. Now, amplifier is usually the most boring part of the synthesizer, but there's some cool things about the amplifier just on its own without modulation that I want to show you. First, take a look at this. At the beginning of the amplifier section, we have a VCF level input. Now, what you might think is that you can sort of take the VCF's effect off of the oscillator signal. And let's see. No, that's not how it works. Instead, it just removes the entirety of the signal from the oscillator and the filter from the signal chain. Now, why on earth would you do that? Well, I think it's largely because they've included another really cool effect, which is they've taken the output from all four oscillators, converted it to a sine wave, and then allowed you to mix a sine wave into the signal. Now, it's cool that you have a polyphonic synth which has a sine wave function. That's cool enough, but do you know why they included the sine wave function? Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think it's because you can get some really cool, extremely low-end cut-out sounds from the high-pass filter with resonance. Here, let's demonstrate. Now those are cool, but what if you thought, gosh, I like that, but I wish I had more of a low end. When you've taken the low end out with the high pass filter, you can't bring it back in with the low pass filter. Your low end is out. It's creating a band pass effect. But what if you could bring an unfiltered signal back in? Well, that's what I think the sine wave section is for. You're able to create these really pinched bandpassy sounds and then bring back a little more punch and low end to them so that they can be used in that way as well as being just normally pinched. And you can use the sine wave, of course, if you're not taking the low end out too. Which just gives you more low end. So if you take the high pass filter and then you boost the low end, you get a sound that is so bassy, it's actually overdriving my signal here. Yeah, so Yamaha, a Japanese synthesizer, has been so cognizant of the concern that they could be being thin or reedy that they've given you a heck of a lot of low end and ability to shape the low end for this synthesizer. It's actually possible to make this thing muddy as a result. But you can hear how just having that sine wave possibility really broadens out the sound. Then, of course, we have a standard ADSR. When you have the release way up, you can hear the oscillators robbing notes from each other, which is actually kind of a cool effect. But you only have 4 oscillators, so your polyphony is limited. Lastly, we have a level slider at the end. And when you bring that down, you have no volume.